All right, D Shop in the morning. Sorry, guys, behind the scenes. Oh my God, I'm just a little shaken and just a little annoyed behind the scenes because this mouse in the house. But anyway, let's just bring on Eric, this my good friend who's a prisoner. Look at this. I feel like a prisoner in my own house with this mouse. I try to have the radio personality, but sometimes it's this is tough because I'm so annoyed and you pay a certain amount of money, but I should complain because you're incarcerated and you want to have freedom, and sometimes it feels like I don't know. It's like I'm tired because I do a lot of stuff and certain things irritate me. Do things irritate you because you're on the inside more?
Yes, good morning, good morning, good morning, D.
Good morning.
Good morning to everybody out there. Well, and thank you for having me back on the show.
Sure,
Uh,
anytime.
a lot of things do, everybody has their little pet peeves, right? Isn't that a thing where everybody, certain things aggravate you and then certain things don't bother you? We had a real vicious mice infestation here. Like it was bad in here, and I know that feeling being in here. They crawl up, and here they jump on top of your bed, they jump on top of your desk. Because we have a bed, we have a desk in the cell, so they get on top of there. They get in your food here, and they eat. And it's like they don't eat one thing, right? They eat like 50 different things, right? so, so it's just like I get it. You know what I mean? I understand the aggravation. They just ate a guy 2 cells down from me. They just ate $35 worth of food on him just a couple of days ago, just like last week sometime, and he
Wow.
had to throw it all out. So I understand it's a skeevy feeling. I get it.
Yeah,
I really do.
like in perspective, it's kind of like I'm going through shit compared to what you're going through. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
but
and I mean, yeah, I gotta count my blessings. I have a place to live, but it's just annoying, and especially when you work so many hours like I do. I put a lot of hours, man hours, in different projects. And speaking to you, actually, is therapy for me today.
yeah.
um,
Well, this is my third. This is my getaway every day. It's a good escape, and it helps me. It helps me keep helps me keep stay focused. And worry and see the bigger goal. And see down the road and look forward to things. I don't really I have other stresses and I have other stuff that bothers me. But you know what? I strap my boots up every day. And I put my jacket on and then my clothes and I walk on, put my head high and I just take it and roll on and just hope tomorrow will be a better day than the last. You know
so,
what I mean?
what is the prison doing for the mouse infestation over there?
Well, they just gave us bins and stuff like that for the mouse infestation. And remember, mice carry a disease called a hentavirus. So you have to be sometimes careful with them. Maybe one or two is not really a big problem, but in here you have like a lot. When we had a lot, so they gave us these plastic bins to put our food in. And I never kept no. I don't keep trash in myself because I got OCD to the maximum. Like everything's got to be neat. Everything's got to be in its own place. Stuff's got to be clean. I don't leave nothing around. I don't even keep trash in my trash bin. Like I throw it all out in the morning.
Right.
I throw it all out, or I wrap it up in something and I'll put it back in my bin, and then I'll throw it out in the morning. So I don't leave nothing out. Like clutter and mess. It just breeds that type of area for infestation, especially in a prison setting, because you might be clean, but your neighbor might not be clean, And luckily for us here, we are in single cells. We're not sharing cells with other inmates. So it's kind of a benefit to the infestation problem,
Right.
But it just recently just subsided, and it actually went down after they gave us these things, the bins and stuff. So you have to just live with it.
I don't know. It just I mean, surprisingly, I lived with it twice. Like I lived on the third floor before this. I was telling you off the air. Before this apartment, I live in the basement apartment over here, right? And
Yep.
I pay good amount of money for rent. But before I was paying a little cheaper rent, but living on the third floor, I called that the penthouse. I did my studio out there, my radio show,
Yeah.
and it was in Salem, Massachusetts. And mice got up to the 3rd floor, Eric. Okay.
There's no hold. Those guys. It's funny you say that, right?
Yep.
It's funny you say this story because I've thought of. There was a guy here that was really good with writing books and stuff like that. Another guy that was really talented in writing books and like storylines and scripts. Like, so I was thinking about, because the mice here are so, like, the way they operate is kind of intriguing, the way they move. I was thinking about doing a storyline. I wanted to do a Pixar with them, like write up a story, like a script, and then get like a Pixar and try to like pitch it out to people to try to do a story about like almost like a Pixar script about the mice and how they live, but do a storyline behind it where it will be like, it will be like a lesson. It will be like a guy that came in to prison. It will be like the mice are incarcerated, but it's just they're living in their mice world. You get what I'm saying?
well, the closest thing to that was Ratatouille,
Yeah. Something that effect, but in a prison setting. You know what I mean?
I like that.
And then but also have a teachable moment at the end of it. Like where it's a moral to a story. It's not just something I'm just putting out there. I wanted to make it something that it's about a kid that came in. His father wasn't around. His mother was around, but he didn't have his father in his life. He was incarcerated at a young age. But then set up all the characters as the mice and then like set up other characters in here. Like we got the cockroaches. You got those would be like they'll be playing other characters, and I was gonna set it up like that. Certain of them was gonna be gods.
Yes, I like that, Eric. Well, actually, it's funny because I don't know what's worse, mice or cockroaches, because when I first moved it down to Georgia, right? There was roaches in my kitchen. Well, no, my second apartment, and I already signed the lease and everything, and I was spraying for roaches finally I just left, you know what I'm saying? And then of course the first time I ever got bed bugs was in Georgia too, you know what I'm saying? Because when I was going through my separation, I moved into this rinky-dink motel, and then I moved out of there quick when I saw bed bugs, and so it's like everything's in Georgia. Everything's in Georgia. You know what I'm saying?
That's good. I lived down there, so I know. I lived in. I remember I told you I lived in Duluth, and I used to. My cousin lived off of Windy Hill Road over there in Marietta, where you used to stay in that area. So I know. Yeah, off Windy Hill Road, Cobb Drive, Cobb Parkway, and all of that stuff over there in that area. So I know they lived in a subdivision though. I had an apartment. I had a pretty decent apartment. I could say it was pretty clean. It was pretty, it wasn't, the rent was very cheap down there. The cost of living, this was like 2007, 2008. The cost of living was actually fairly decent. I was paying $707 for for a 1,400 square foot apartment.
And what city was it? What city?
Duluth.
Okay, because in 2000, in 2009, I moved down to Smyrna with my ex-wife, and then we moved on Atlanta Road, right off of Windy Hill. Then I got my second apartment on Windy Hill Road in Smyrna, and then where I used to do my show, my early days on my show, Derek Shapiro Show, I taped on Windy Hill Road in Marietta, Rich Productions. Okay, so Rich Productions it's near Cobb Parkway, and then of course I stayed at a efficiency hotel for like 3 months or 4 months, right across from Walmart on Cobb Parkway. So I'm telling you, I'm going down in April. So it should be cool. It should be cool to go back down there because
I told you that's where my mother's buried, so I have to go down there and pay my respects to her. Sure. She's buried down there in Georgia. I still got my sister. Like I was telling you the other day, my sister's a doctor down there. She works in the hospital down there. So she works at a private hospital. It's pretty. Like I said, I like the cost of living down there, but I like the city. Like I'm more of a city boy. It's a city out there in Atlanta, but it's still slow compared. Like if I could live in New York City and live in like a penthouse in New York City, I like the hustle and bustle. But now I'm starting to get older, so I was telling my fiance, I was telling Rika, I said, I think we should move to, somewhere not in the woods, but close to the city, but where we're a little secluded, where we have some acreage on our own.
Okay.
Where we get to, Yeah, we could raise some chickens and stuff like that. And she's like, I don't want to go. She's like, I don't want to go in the woods because at night it be dark in the woods. But I'm like, as long as we're about a mile off, a mile off from the city, it will be nice. You know what I mean? But just so that way we have our own privacy.
Exactly.
We can raise chickens. We can do. We can have room for the kids to run around and stuff like that. And it's not.
I like that.
You're not living in the hustle. You're not living in the hustle and bustle of the city and stuff like that. But you're close to the city. But you have the city right there. You have access to everything. But so we was looking. We've been thinking of somewhere to move to where to live. We was thinking, maybe Denver. Not Denver, but Colorado. And she was like, oh, it's too woodsy out there. So we're still trying to think of where we're actually gonna settle down, because Rhode Island, I really don't want to stay in the state of Rhode Island when I get out. I just don't want to do the good work that I'm doing, pushing for criminal justice reform and prison reform and stuff like that. But I want to do it where I could come into Rhode Island and do it, and then be able to move around and push for this nationwide. Try to get things going nationwide. You know what I mean?
Now, based on that, how when you get out, how long do you have to live in Rhode Island before you can move out of Rhode Island?
Well, I could transfer immediately. I could transfer if I want to. I could transfer my probation if I so choose. But hopefully, when I get out from here, it will. The way that I want things to work out, hopefully by the grace of the Almighty, if it works out right, I won't have any probation when I get out. So that way I'll be able to move immediately and do what I want to do with my life, move on with my life. But I will still I still have a lot of connections. I got a kid, I got my children out here. So I still want to stay out here for my children, but I would also like to, stay out of the reach of because I went through a lot of stuff in this state with dealing with the system, and with the court system, it's too much corruption for me to swallow. You know what I mean? I always said my family, my sisters, they don't want me to stay here. They always told me, my mother before she passed, they always said, get out of that Rhode Island. They left years ago, almost 20 something years ago they left. And they always tell me, oh, you should have left Rhode Island a long time ago. But it's home. I love the state, don't get me wrong, but it's just a lot of stuff that I can't. I'm thinking about, relocating, and I just want to live a peaceful, quiet life where I could be able to be successful with my wife and my children, and just try to, do focus on better things and just put this stuff behind me.
Exactly, because and you always try to do better and bigger and better things. I mean, I made a lot of connections. Even having you on my show was a bigger and better thing, because I'm glad we're not talking too much about. We're talking about some different issues, some lighthearted issues today, and I think it's good that we're talking about a little different issue, about the mouse, and then we're talking about other issues, Georgia, you know what I'm saying? And this is how you build a friendship, you build connections, and you're just an added benefit to my show, you know what I'm saying? And
well, I gotta say, hold on, I'm flattered. I gotta stop you right there and say I'm very flattered, because I've seen your archives of those that you have interviewed, Jennifer Lopez, Kelly Clarkson. I'm just a guy, I'm just Eric in prison, trying to change the world from in here. But at the end of the day, I'm very flattered for you to say that, because you've done interviewed people, and you have people.
You have 1 minute left.
Beyond what people that I look up to, a lot of those people, and I admire them, so I really appreciate that.
Well, thank you. Well, you know what? You got to stay humble, and sometimes I'm not as humble as I want to be, because I had to promote the show, but you bring the humbleism to me and to what's going on, and we have a lot more to talk about next week, so thank you very much, Eric, for joining me on this Wednesday show on the 22nd of February. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, and I'll love. Can't wait to come back on, and I want people to follow the Prison and Family Union and go on. If they have any questions for me, eyakin401@gmail.com. That's EYACHIN401@gmail.com.
Okay.
All right. Have a good day. Everybody bless out there, and enjoy your morning.
All right.
Goodbye.
All right. So D Shap in the morning with Eric will do entertainment news next on this fine Wednesday. More to come.